First dish. Salt Papi's first snack was halal ham, a big heavyweight who Papi began cooking 9 seconds after the fight began. Halal decided to start aggressively. It works on beginners, but Papi immediately made it clear that he was experienced enough to not break under the pressure of the opponent's aggression. Not a single strike reached the target. Papi holds his hand high like a jab feint, after which he throws a jab to the body. It's a prep for the left straight, so he throws another feint for jab to the head, after which the left straight. But Ham decided it was time to brawl, because of which the attack did not go away. This was the first stage of cooking, peppering. Papi realized that setting up punches was unnecessary. He leans his body forward, after which Ham, in a panic, tries to attack, which opens the window of counterattack. Now Papi only attacks in this way, provokes a tilt in front, and strikes. This was the second stage of cooking, salting. When Salt Papi shook Halal, he was frightened and closed in on defense. Now, to provoke him to attack, the tilt of the body is not enough. So Papi returned the decoy with his front hand and attacked straight. This is the beginning of the third stage, eating what Papi cooked. Here, Salt Papi mentally destroys the opponent. Now he makes feints not only with the front hand, but also with the rear hand. A feint for the straight after a power jab. Now every Papi action is dangerous for Halal. The second round begins with the classic Salt Papi setup. A feint hook with the front hand, followed by a powerful left straight. This combination will bring success for Papi in future fights, and will become his calling card. Here we see a technique of the level of professional boxing. Again, a hook feint, then a feint for left straight. This froze Ham, which made it possible for Papi to create an angle for an attack with a right hook. It's an incredible footwork and speed given the size. Because, let's be honest, in his first fight, he doesn't look like Salt Papi, but rather like the father of Salt. So many feints and setups were enough for a fight with Ham. Papi didn't want to risk running out of steam in battle, because of which he safely mixed all of the above attacks and confidently won. Second dish. If you are interested in the freshest news in the best quality, we present you the YouTube Boxing News Channel. Link in description. Second dish. There is nothing to talk about. This fight is rather not cooking a dish, but a light snack. There is not even anything to cook. You need to eat it immediately. Salt Papi throws out a couple of feints by tilting the body to check what the opponent will do. After the safest body jab in human history, Papi decides to finish off the victim. A couple of feints with the front hand so that the opponent moves his hands to the nose, and now the way for hooks is open, which Salt Papi uses and throws a crushing combination. It was a Mike Tyson-style knockout. Quick, technical, and confident. Absolutely everything in this performance speaks of Papi's incredibly high level of boxing. The very fact that, despite the safety of the opponent, he didn't hurry, but prepared an attack, tells us about his championship mindset. Confident, but not overconfident. Third dish. This fight perfectly continues the theme of confidence, because one fighter is confident in his skills and is preparing for his victory, and the second is frightened by the skills of the first, because of which, instead of concentrating on winning, he thinks only about how to perform actions correctly and technically. Josh Bruckner was frightened not only by Salt Papi's skills, but also by the fact that Papi is left-handed, who are many times less in boxing than fighters with a regular stance. Because of that, it's difficult to prepare for them. One of the main keys to defeating southpaws is footwork. You need to win the battle of the front leg, and constantly step behind the leg of the opponent to have a more advantageous angle of attack, as well as to be able to make a sidestep from the opponent's jab. Throughout the fight, Josh Bruckner was thinking only about Salt Papi's feet. Quentin Tarantino would respect this type of thinking, but due to constant thoughts about Salt Papi's foot, Bruckner's attacks were predictable, and his punches were without a swing, rather arm punches. From the very first second, Salt Papi measures the distance to set the rhythm, and he not only sets the rhythm, but also breaks it, so that Josh is as uncomfortable as possible. After manipulating his front hand, Salt Papi hopes to catch his opponent on a powerful left straight. This is the first stage of cooking. Josh himself was getting cooked without realizing it. Once upon a time in UFC, Darren Till, before he was beat up by everyone, very qualitatively set the rhythm with the front hand. So he dictated the fight and easily caught opponents with his counter left straight. Papi is trying to remove the jab with a right hook. It doesn't do much damage, but he needs Bruckner to doubt all his attacks. Now the feint on left hook will be even more intimidating, which will open the door for the left straight. Often when novice boxers can't reach the head of the opponent, they get lost, and out of frustration begin to attack the body, which in the first place is dangerous if you don't prepare feints to the head, and in the second, it's a predictable tactic. Experienced fighters like Papi expect this, which is why he threw the left straight so quickly. Here Salt Papi skillfully lulled Josh's attention with his front hand while he set the rhythm by waving his hand. Bruckner didn't even notice that he had his back to the ropes, followed by a left straight. Being with his back to the ropes, Josh had only two options for movement, left or right. But the left straight attack left only one option, so Papi already knew how to continue the attack while the opponent ran away. This was the second stage of cooking, salting. Now the fight becomes very similar to the fight with Ham. The opponent has already gone through two stages of cooking. He found himself in a world of feints, moral destruction, and whipping attacks. Josh is already beginning to suspect that he has been fully cooked, and Salt Papi is beginning to eat him. Because of which, he now tries to just arrange exchanges in the hope of somehow catching Papi, but he himself gets hit. In the second round, Josh came out even more terrified than the first. He continues to beat up the air with his obvious combinations. His reluctance to reduce the distance during attacks plays into Papi's hands, because he now reduces it himself when he wants to attack. Here Papi uses his favorite reversing tactic. The whole fight he threw feints with a right hook, after which he threw a left straight. And now, having intimidated enough with the left straight, he uses it as a feint and then applies the right hook. Despite the fact that the whole video is about the incredible technique of Salt Papi, this knockout is largely the merit of Josh Bruckner. You are witnessing one of the dumbest moments in the history of YouTube boxing. Josh throws the combination on the air, moving to who knows where. Then he returns to the position from where he threw the combination and again tries to apply it. To which Salt Papi replies, "Thank you," which translates into boxing language as pivot with left straight. Bruckner then finds his leftovers at the other end of the ring. Inside 2 rounds, he was cooked and eaten. What's most interesting is the knockout repeats Manny Pacquiao's knockout frame by frame. Salt Papi is really as good as they say he is. He has all the qualities to become the king of YouTube boxing. But even fighters like Papi have gaps in technique. Write in the comments, do you want to see a video where I create a plan to defeat Salt Papi? If you have questions, you can go to my personal Instagram. Link in the description.